Before moving on to big programs in Python, we first need to learn all about operators and the variables. So far in the previous videos, I have already discussed about the variables, identifiers, keywords, literals and data types, and we have already discussed something about operators, but each and single operator performs a different task. We have discussed about plus operator, minus operator, divide operators, exponent operators, but we need to clear about a percent operator first, because in some cases you need to find the remainder of two numbers dividing each other. We need to find the remainder. To find the remainder, if suppose there is a number 37 and if we are dividing it by 5, what should be the remainder? Yes, of course, it will give you 2, because you cannot wholly divide 37 by 5, it will become 2 as a remainder. So if you divide 5 by 2 and you want to change, if you want to check the remainder, then it will be 1. So suppose a number is 4 and you will try to divide it by 2, you get the remainder 0, because 4 is completely divisible by 2, 5 is not completely divisible by 2, it gives you remainder 1, 37 is also not divisible by 5, it gives you remainder 2. This percent operator gives you the remainder. But what about quotient? Suppose there is a number 67 and I want to divide it by 5. You want the remainder also and you want the quotient also. So this will completely divide it. It will give you 13.4, but we do not want the fractional part of it. We want quotient as 13 and remainder as 2, because you cannot completely divide 67 by 5 in whole number. So what will be the remainder? The remainder should be 2 and quotient should be 13. So we can do it by 67, double divide symbol 5. It gives you 13, that will be quotient, and 67% 5 give you 2. So you have the quotient also, you have the remainder also. This come handy when you are solving big problems like finding a number is even or odd, finding a number is divisible by some other number. In some other cases you will find this useful, percent operator and double slash operator. This slash operator is floor division operator. This slash operator is called floor division operator, and this percent is called modulus operator, right? It gives you remainder and the previous gives you integer division, right? So these are the two operators that will be very useful. Some other operators already we have used. Suppose there is, you have to calculate 7 to the power 3, then you use double star operator. 2 to the power 4, 16. So you use power operator like double star. We also use POW 2, 4. It also gives you 16. Either use POW function or use double star operator. The difference is that double star is an operator. Here double star is an operator for power calculation, but POW is a function. How would you recognize that this is a function? Because every function has a bracket, this small bracket starting and ending. This indicates you that this is a function, and these are the two parameters. This is a parameter and this is a parameter. First parameter is the base and the other parameter is the exponent to which the power has to be calculated. So we can use POW, we can use double star operator. Some other functions you have already used, input function, like we have used enter a number. We have also used a function called print function. How do we use print function? Print is written, bracket is started, some message is to be written here, then comma, then value which you want to print or a variable. So we have also used a function called float function, which converts an integer value into a float value. See here, float 6 is an integer and converted to float. int converts a float value into integer. So more functions we have also used, like suppose there is a variable x equal to 9, we can see its data type by using type function. You can see here it is int type. So we can also find the storage address of x where the x variable has been created. Yes, this place the variable has been created. So far we have many functions studied, but there will be more functions and more modules which will include more functions in it. So operators and functions have been so far cleared. Let us move on to some big programs. I am starting a interpreter, and we are gonna make a program in which we have to find the input number is an even or odd. In this program we are gonna find an input number is an even or odd. So suppose number is entered like that, int input input, enter a number, right? This bracket is for input and this bracket is for int, because whatever number you are entering should be an integer, otherwise you cannot find even or odd. So you have entered a number in an n and you want to find the remainder, otherwise how will you detect that the number is even or odd? You need to find the remainder. If the remainder is 0, it means the number is divisible by 2, that means it is even. So n% 2, it will give you the remainder by dividing it to 2, and the remainder will be stored in r. If r is equal to 0, if the value of r is 0, then you can say this number is even. Print even number. If this is not possible, it means the remainder is not 0, then we write else. Else means if is not running, then else will run, odd number, right? This program is a bit different from those programs we have already discussed and made. Calculating area, calculating squares, finding the volume, calculating simple interest, compound interest, finding the average, finding the sum. These programs were different programs. Those were very simple programs, but these programs require some decision. Decision means If the remainder is 0, then it is even. If the remainder is not 0, then it is odd number. This decision has to be made. So the program has been completed. We have entered a number in n. We calculated the remainder in r. If r is equal to 0, then it is even number. If r is not equal to 0, then it is odd number. See some marks here. It is a colon. This symbol indicates that this is a if part. This else colon shows this is false part. True part is this and false part is this. If r is equal to 0, it means true, then an even number, otherwise odd number. Let us run this program. Before moving on, we need to save it. We write it by T1. See, it is running here at the below. Enter a number, we entered 9. It is odd number, correct? We run it again. Enter a number, we entered 8. It is even. So today we have studied about conditional programming. This is called conditional programming. And in conditional programming, this first program was made for a number to check is even or odd. In the next video, we will gonna discuss more about this if and else, but with different problems. I hope you understand. Let us make one more program. Suppose we want to check the divisibility of a number by 5. The input number is divisible by 5 or not. Suppose this program is to be made. Enter the number and check it by dividing it by 5. If it is divisible by 5, then the number is divisible, otherwise not. So we need to enter a number. We need to check the remainder by dividing it by 5. If the remainder is 0, then we can write the number is divisible by 5. Otherwise it is not divisible by 5. This program can also be made by this. Checking it by 2 will give you even odd. Checking it by 5 will give you divisible by 5 or not. Let us run this program also. We entered 25. Yes, it is divisible by 5. We entered 56. No, it is not divisible by 5 because it is not completely divided by 5. 1 is the remainder. If the remainder is 0, then divided by 5. If it is not 0, then it is not divisible by 5. Hope you understand this program. This is called conditional programming using if and else. Remember this if condition. The next command should be a little forward, a little indented by using the tab button. Similar case in else, the command has to be written a little forwarded by pressing the tab key. See you in next video.